Ignite the drive in your soul. It's calling you. Are you brave enough to be a fool? I'm so unconscious. The clock took me away. No one can find me. I know who I am. I was just a little lost. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to keep it. I'm not sure where I went, but don't get me wrong. I know who I am. Ignite the drive within soul. It's calling you. Ignite the drive within soul. To each their own. Buckle up, run on, WWAM. Too late, my baby. Run on, WWAM. I'm up and running.
Let's start picking up the little extras of life. Hallelujah. I stumble many times, I might get hurt, but I keep on running. Who will walk out on the street bothered about bumps in the road? I'm scared of the laughter, but I love to laugh myself. In the world I only like, so let's smile and laugh.
Hello everyone, tonight we're gonna be doing some UB Funkeys just like every November, just on different platform. Really, for some people watching this, is not even a different platform. You know, if you're primarily someone that watches the VODs, then last we left off, it was partway through the Funkeys Island stuff, because I've already finished the first wave, so let me just check my crib and see. Okay, so here's an important question. Where does it... Where are the special items that... Okay, so Soul's Ancient Helios Mask is classified as a wall hanging just because you can hang it on the wall. I think that might be it. Because I don't... Might as well check my game room and see if I have any of the games unlocked in here. I do have one. I have Hectic Halfpipe. You know what? If I have to go to Funkeys Island for the other games, I might as well just go. So I usually do is I play each game like 5 times and then just rotate. So, and weirdly enough, I have not unlocked the one game that I have received the MacGuffin for. Right, time to remember how to play Hectic Halfpipe, because it is the most complicated game out of all of the ones available for this wave. Oh, I think I might have been clicked out somehow. It's either that or I've entered some kind of like mouse control only mode other than going back and forth on the actual thing. It's not accepting keyboard inputs for the tricks. Which is also the only way I reliably figured out how to do like the spins. Well, I got that one. Yeah, you can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard, but it's not letting me use the arrow keys on the keyboard, I don't think. Which is weird because it was just fine before. I have no idea who I would even... Like, where would I even go to get support on on this, like... I guess I would have to talk to... maybe somebody that worked on the unofficial support for newer versions of Windows. This could very well be a Windows 11 thing. Like, that could be what's happening, is Windows 11 broke something. Because last time I played UB Funkeys, I was on Windows 10. But yeah, Microsoft said, upgrade to our new operating system, or pay us more money. It's like, well, I don't have more money to pay Microsoft, so... At least this game works. I mean, it doesn't even... It's not like it uses any kind of keyboard or controls, so... Could also be something up with my keyboard. But it's also weird that it's only those specific controls that are not working. You gotta wonder what was going on in the studio when they designed this particular one. Like, yeah, we're gonna make like a fish guy whose whole thing is having a scary face. And so this game is going to be you scare fish into vomiting out pearls. you know, not you know the thing that you usually get pearls from. Fish. Because, well, one thing, how would you scare an oyster? Grant, how do you scare a fish? I guess in this case, by looking like a scarier fish. Also, you know, you miss out on the ability to have the targets move around. And if you don't make them something that can move. Of course, you know, once we get done with the Funkeys Island stuff, we'll be moving on to some of the most interesting, like, concept ideas that exist in this entire game. Because I've been doing it like one wave at a time, really one zone at a time, which means that once Funkeys is done, we move on to the dream states. They're always my favorite. Yeah, but fitting with the theme that they were going for, they're weird. Here to say the least. And I've only been playing this for a few minutes, and my arm's already starting to get sore. Honestly, it kind of makes me wonder if it's something up with my arm more than it is a video game. Just vomit out that pearl. Like, what is going on with Funkiki Island's fish if they're always eating pearls? Or, you know, they're just eating sand. Because, I mean, that's how a pearl is formed, is by sand getting stuck inside of oysters. Maybe when it gets stuck in these tropical fish, it also turns into pearls sometimes.
Stellular! I've been checking you out from the dock. You're almost as fine a pearl diver as me. Dig it! They don't call me Jerry Pearl for nothing. And Airy Jerry, too. Excuse me. With mucho respect, dude, the Nibble are rewarding you with a bucket of their secret recipe chum. Psst. I know the ingredients, dude. 1 cup chopped bread, a teaspoon of kitty chow, the leftovers from yesterday's catch, a pinch of sugar, and 2 lime-marinated worms. This special chum drives fish crazy. But P.U. it smells disgusting. Could I just have a taste, though?
Alright, so I never have to play a pearl diver again. Because that was a signal that I have received the MacGuffin. Which means that the rest of the stream is just going to be probably just Webley's game. Because I can't make Flurry's game work, right? So you could have got that one. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I think due to the limited features of my overlay here, I'm gonna have to just like not use the buttons on my on my tablet to pause and unpause the music. Because I don't need that getting clogged up with a bunch of me entering commands. Yeah, my old overlay was able to filter those out, but it only works on Twitch, and I'm not on Twitch anymore. And one day I'd like to go back to Twitch, but well, if they're not gonna provide me with a quality connection, then kinda not worth trying. Hence why I'm here on YouTube now. Yeah, I guess it could be worse. I could not be able to stream at all, period. I could be off of Twitch due to reasons other than connection issues. Although, you know, I'm not really sure what I'm like if I ever got like permanently banned from Twitch, I'm not sure what I would have done. Like, would have to be some, like... It'd have to be something that, like... I somehow just, like, completely missed being a bad thing. Because, like, so many of the things that could get somebody permanently banned from just about any platform, I feel confident that I know better than to do. So
Looking good! I was collecting coconuts and caught your totally rad web moves. Very fly! As a sign of total respect for your fantastic fly-catching feats, the Webley are presenting you with their treasured web shooter, originally owned by the famed Webley explorer, Brock Cousteau. Whoa, watch where you're aiming that thing! That fierce tool helped Cousteau cross many a hairy obstacle and discover Funkeys Island. Use it on your way if you come to a dead end. Or, if you're bored, you could always grab something tasty from the fridge with it.
okay, so the Webley have given me what is presumably the closest UB Funkeys gets to it is to just a literal gun. So, but technically it is a gun, like it shoots things, it just doesn't... just doesn't shoot bullets. Which, I mean, you know, because this is a game for children, they very much just make progress tied to getting an amount of cumulative points. So technically, even if I never do a trick, I will get the thing from Hectic Halfpipe eventually. But you know, like I'm trying to use the keyboard. It's just not working. And the mouse control is not great. As compared to the keyboard, is very imprecise. But unless they've got like a minimum amount of points, technically you could just do the first part over and over and still get the item eventually. It would just take significantly longer than if you can actually be good at the game. And we're certainly going to be hearing a lot of the single, maybe like 10-second loop of generic rock music. Because until I get this item, this is the rest of the night. It just didn't register the flip. And that time it didn't register the second down. Yeah, it is being extremely difficult with anything more complicated than two movements. Yeah, I would love to do that move, but game's just not letting me. Because I would have to have it actually register that I have done the combination. Two seems to be the maximum I'm capable of with the mouse controls. Because, like, the cursor is visible. I managed to do one accidentally. Not even a move that I have been prompted to do. Which, I mean, could maybe I have just forgotten the sequence. To do the rotation. Which, I mean, it looks like you should be able to just, like, the icon makes it seem like you should be able to just do this. Apparently sometimes you can. You just need some measure of precision, I guess. Like, it seems to be a very tight circle that you need to draw. At least I'm making progress. Yeah, but then sometimes it just doesn't register anything. So... like, I would love to just use the keyboard controls. They're not working for some reason. So... yeah, no MacGuffin. So I've got to go again. But, you know, you also can't do moves until the game has taught you how to do them, so... There are some moves I just... You know, sometimes you can end up having something that's technically a valid move, but because the game has not taught you to do it yet, it just doesn't work. And this is just gonna be... the rest of the night, or until I can get whatever item the flurry have to offer. Because I'm not going back and forth between two different zones. So, this is the one that I have unlocked at... well, even if I have it unlocked at my crib, I'm pretty sure they made the ending for this zone much more interactive than it was for the original whole wave zones. You see, like, this move just doesn't register properly. And neither do any of the moves that involve doing a circle. Like, I got pretty good at doing those moves on the keyboard. But the game has seemingly decided not to register my keyboard for anything other than the movement on the half pipe. Still not getting anything. Once again, game, I would love to do the flurry flip. And I actually did it this time. But the control for it is wildly inconsistent. And whether it actually wants to give you the exact combination needed to make it register as the full rotation. Yeah, you can do something that arguably should be a flurry flip, but the game's just like, fuck you, you didn't do it in the exact order that is never specified. Like, I think it's got something to do with where you start the rotation from. But they never tell you that. Okay, so it's not left. I seem to recall it being down, but that doesn't seem to work. Yeah, down can apparently do the backwards one. Sometimes. There we go. It's also very unclear how to change directions, essentially. And, you know, like, because there are no moves that require you to do the same direction multiple times in a row. If you do the same direction multiple times in a row, it doesn't count. It only counts as the one direction. Which, you know, is something that would function a lot better if my arrow keys would do their job. Again, I'm willing to bet that Windows 11 has something to do with it. Because, you know, upgrading to Windows 11 is one of the main things that I've changed since the last time I played UB Funkeys. That, and I got a different keyboard. I just didn't have that one extra arrow in there that would have worked. Like I cannot do the goofy helicopter because it doesn't want to register that I'm going left after I've gone up. It just refuses to. Same with going down after going right, for some reason. And it takes a lot of very precise movement. Yeah, like I guess I'm not going... Yeah, it just does not register right after... Just does not register left after... Or an up. Yep, still no item. You know, I think after this run, if I don't get the item, I'm gonna look online and see if this is like maybe a known issue. Like maybe there's an update. You know, from the people that made the like third-party launcher. They're designed to make this work with modern Windows. I mean, I've got some moves that reliably work, they're just not the moves I'm being prompted to do. So I'm missing out on bonus points if I keep spamming those. Yeah, Goofy Helicopter is not happening in game because I cannot get the keyboard, cannot get the commands to register because no helicopter move is working. Yeah, I haven't gained access to that move yet. At least the nose grabs reliably work. Because I could even do them accidentally. You know, it's too... The nose grabs work because it's just the two right and left inputs. Yep, still nothing, so... I'm gonna look at the installer guide. Okay, so there clearly is not an update to the thing that lets me actually play this game on newer versions of Windows. Have I tried one thing? maybe compatibility mode will do something. Oh, there's a configuration menu, so maybe that will. Well, I turned on USB support. Yeah, and there is no compatibility mode for Windows 10, so. I walked past the Funkeys Island portal at some point. Which, I mean, at least this is a zone I've already completed, so it's perfectly safe. I guess there is one. There's one other possibility. Because I do have software that's used to... I've used in the past to... basically give games that don't have controller support. Particularly if like my fingers start to get sore from overuse of certain arrow keys. Don't think I did that with this game. I did that with a different one of the mini games from Wave 1. I don't think I did it with Hectic Halfpipe. I'm checking in my web browser and my arrow keys work just fine everywhere else. Hell, I mean, the arrow keys were working just fine in a different game within Funkeys itself. And there's no relevant posts on the subreddit. I mean, apparently there's a Discord server for the Funkeys community via Reddit. I guess I can just get Discord up and running. I guess I might as well just get a few rounds of Hectic Halfpipe in while I wait for that to launch. You can also hold... Oh. I just forgot an important part of the instructions. It is not a bug. It is me not reading. You have to hold down spacebar in order for it to register that you are attempting to use the arrow keys to do a trick. This should go much faster now, because I can actually use the control scheme that functions reliably. Which, I mean, you know, that's on me for assuming that I just will remember the full controls for a game that I have not played in close to a year. And especially when I have not put like a super significant amount of time into. Good thing I decided to just play some rounds of Hectic Half-Pipe while I waited for Discord to open. Because imagine how foolish I would feel if, you know, I went and joined this Discord only to be told, have you been holding down spacebar? As the response to my question about whether the game is broken on Windows 11. Like, just, have you tried holding down spacebar? I was just so ready to blame Windows 11 for this. When in at least this instance, that is not the problem. Me making assumptions is the problem. Well, you know what they say about assuming. That is completely the wrong move. Which, I mean, I'm sure, like the whole holding down the spacebar thing must be like an engine limitation or something. Like they found, oh, we can't. The way we've set up the game, normally you can't use arrow keys in this way for some reason. So we're going to have spacebar technically like enter you into a special mode for as long as you are holding down spacebar. But now I can also do the flurry freakout reliably. Like when I'm using the actually good controls, I am decent at this game at least. And because I am at least decent into this game, I should be able to get it's not working to do the triple flipple. Almost had it if I had just gotten that last S1 to work. There we go, I did it at least once. A nice big score like this should at least make a good amount of progress. Because it's all just cumulative points. Because, you know, this is a game for children. And, you know, its target audience did not necessarily have the patience to master any of the mini games. To the point required or to like get some massive high score all at once. You know, I sure didn't. Back when I was within the age range that this game is designed for. I didn't even have the patience to play some of the games long enough to get the gem shard from them. You know, looking at you, Invasion. Still don't have enough points to get the thing. So this is still going to be the ongoing thing for potentially at least the rest of the night. If not, on into other Funkeys streams in the future. But it will be worth it. Because after this, we get to move on to the best, pretty much the best wave of Funkeys that they ever released. There we go. I can do the goofy helicopter now. Because I can actually get the 3 required commands to register. Thousand points to move on to the next level. Don't have that move yet. So just spend some of this time practicing my circles. And see again, like I can be good at the game when I have access to the good controls. The nice thing about these up down moves is that not only is a control scheme fairly simple, but the animation's fast, so you've got minimal chance of wiping out. There we go, got enough points. Reverse flurry freak out. If you can just keep prompting me to do these, then I should be pretty good. Still no MacGuffin, so gonna have to just keep on going. Because, you know, I have to, like, could get the item from within my crib. I guess they just, like, mail it to you. You're not there. I do need to go to Funkeys Island to finish the storyline for it. Because they gave it a bit more interactivity. Like, you have to actually go and do things. But, you know, since I think there's some sort of, no, I don't think there is like an animation cancel. Maybe some of them you can do some kind of like animation cancel trick. but that's probably just like an oversight with those specific moves. Which, I mean, any kind of animation canceling is going to be an oversight. Because, like, if you look at any fighting game, moves are supposed to last a certain amount of time for a reason. Because, you know, like, if a move is like slow but does a lot of damage, then it's supposed to be slow. Like, if you're somehow making it faster, you're most likely exploiting an oversight by the developers. I mean, granted, like, I don't know if you can necessarily expect the greatest programming. I mean, granted, like, I mean, it's the game that was originally at least produced on behalf of Mattel, so, but it's also a game for children, or at least not expected to necessarily have all that high standards. Yeah, clearly this is just going to be the heart hoopla of Funkeys Island. Just like, you know, they like made the threshold ridiculously high. Possibly even overestimating how many points you can reasonably get on a single run. Because you would think that perhaps, like, they would just balance it around, like, okay, we wanted to either, like, take this amount of time, or this many runs. You know, get the MacGuffin item. Yeah, that's not even a move. Like, double reverse flip is not a thing. I don't think this is a win. Oh no, like... I just keep going until I get... Yeah, because this is the final level. So you just keep going until either you fully win the game, and you do have to be in the air in order to perform tricks. Like, you can't use your time on the half pipe itself to just, like, start inputting arrow keys. And of course I wiped out. Finally got the triple flipple, and I wiped out. Still no MacGuffin. I'm actually gonna check my crypt to make sure I don't just, like, have the item already somehow. I already have the item, that's why. So I can just go... I can just go ahead and do the thing. The strange orb feels wet to the touch. Wonder what it is for. You can feel the heat radiating from the strange orb. I wonder what it is for. This orb is sticky. I wonder what it is for. This orb feels cold to the touch. I wonder what it is for. And I think the thing that the orbs are for is, yeah, that thing looks mean.
My toes are smoking, dude. Hey there, what's shaking? Thought I'd tag along when I saw you open that scary gate. Looks like we found where those pestering natives have been hiding. Hey, let me take over the communicado. What's up, little doodos? We come in peace. We be most awesome. Huh, they don't seem to want to talk to us. Whoopa whoopa pooba dooba, dude? Huh, he says that no one talks to the Pineapple King without bringing a gift. A worthy gift. A big gift. Quick, let's get out of here before they change their tude.
I saw somewhere that it's like they have to like get a coconut. Like all the coconuts out of that tree. I could be completely wrong as well. Yeah, I think about it, like, I think what's this? A golden pineapple falling from a coconut tree. Oh, I don't get to finish reading that message? Okay. Might, just in case, I'm gonna make my way over to somewhere to get not stinky. It's like I wonder, like, why have that mechanic? Like, is it entirely just to give their young audience a hygiene lesson? Because, like, all it is just simply, yeah, you can't go inside certain buildings if your funky is stinky. And because your funky gains filth, both from certain activities and from just not having played in like a few days. Like, the only other explanation is that it's designed to prolong. So it's designed to, like, make it to where you have an extra task to do if it's been a few days since you played the game last, but also there's not really anything that they directly gain from you playing the game more often, because it's for the most part, single player experience. Like, I guess maybe playing the game more encourages you to buy more Funkeys.
Hooba dooba ding-a-wanga? Shabba dabba ding-dong? The Pineapple King says don't be fooled. He's actually 6 feet tall and can lift 250 pounds. He's also pleased with your righteous gift. He says next time, bring 2. Chasm Shazam Spasm? He says that lately, the volcano has been making some wicked sounds, and he fears for the safety of his people's village. He says that to please the volcano god, he has sent his fearless warriors down into Funkeys Island to steal coins as a sacrifice to the volcano. The big kahuna here says all this was foretold on their most ancient cave walls. It predicted a great disaster on the most highest level. But that if a great warrior dude would walk out into the lava without fear, the volcano god would reward him with the heart of Funkeys. Oh yeah, and stop the disaster. What kind of fool's gonna try something like that? I would love to help these little guys out, but how? Is there some way we could use those sweet gifts you earned from each of the Funkeys on the island? Whoa, totally awesome! By using the snowman suit as a raft and the Sol mask to see through those wicked lava fumes, you can reach the gem! I think I'll wait back here where it's safe and snack on some of that yummy chum. But don't fear, dude. I'll reel you in with the web shooter once you have it. We've done it! Oh, I never doubted you for a second, dude. Now that you have the gem from that angry volcano, the natives' village is no longer in danger. Oh, and they'll stop stealing your coins. The Grand Poobah wishes to thank you and invites you to become an official member of their tribe. Your new village name is Kalia Puka Pow, which in our language means George. Well, he says you're welcome to visit any time, and now you can purchase items at their village store. What's that? The chief says they have no further need of gold and will only accept coconuts as payment? Wait, that means I'm rich! Bring on the chum!
Well, that's... That's the end of the Funkeys Island storyline. Yeah, thanks game for letting me know that I have an item not in my inventory anymore. You know what? I don't even have to return to Funkeys Town. I can just take a detour. Just as soon as I remember how to get around to the portal. Maybe we'll go to Funkeys Town. Depending on which portal I find my way to first. Guess I'm going through Funkeys Town. Get to the next zone. If I can remember where the portal is. Because this is... like, technically there's more Funkeys in Series 2, but they don't... there's not even a plot line for the Royalton Racing Complex Rush by Speed Racer, the live-action movie. And you can see where they had plans for more. Yeah, maybe we're doing Daydream Oasis first. Because I found the portal to it first.
Welcome to Daydream Oasis. Don't let the dreamy name fool you, though. Mess up in here and you might wind up taking a permanent nap. So listen up and I'll give you the lowdown on these here parts. Even the finest sailors in Funkeys Town would have trouble navigating the blinding waves of the fractal sea. Of course, the tank are no ordinary swabbies, and have docked their Funk Marine at the edge of its shimmering shores. Following the rainbows and the cumulus keys will lead you to the home of the lucky. You wouldn't guess it to look at them, but the lucky are the toughest funkies you will ever run across. The dire have set up their digs in the fungi forest. While they call themselves heavy thinkers, most funkies just call them plain old lazy. I call them the funkiest of the funkies, but that's only because they never wash. The Burger Cheesesmiths craft their legendary banana split cheddar in the Great Dairy Divide. I reckon its cream dreamy sweetness is the finest you'll ever taste. Too bad the burger themselves are all lactose intolerant. Oh yeah, one final warning. Make sure to watch your step around here. Never can tell what may or may not pop up. Let's get moving.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I ever knew what this guy's deal was. And, you know, in case somehow you missed the obvious implication that the dire do a lot of drugs, we filled their game room with smoke. Grant, I think that it could be supposed to be incense. Okay, good. The multiplayer games do work because they have a single player mode. You're not participating in an extended deep thought session. The dire love to play Zhong Challenge. The object is to remove as many available tile pairs as possible during your turn. Playable tiles are not covered by any other tiles and have a free space on their left or right edge. Utilize bonus tiles to also get points and outmaneuver your opponent. You can put your mouse over any tile to preview its value and get further information. Click 2 time bonus tiles to get extra time. Click 1 freeze tile to pause the timer to give yourself a chance to look for matches. You can't make matches while the timer is frozen. Click on shuffle tile to shuffle all tiles. Pair the magic tile with any tile that is free on the left or right edge to magically pair the tiles. However, you won't get any points for this match. So we're playing more Mahjong. This is at least the second instance of Mahjong that UB Funkeys has. Granted, this is 2-player Mahjong, so it is different. If I recall correctly, Funkeys has a total of 3 different iterations of Mahjong. Actually, I think one of them might be dominoes. Those actually. Like I think it's one of the ones in Paradox Green, which is gonna be a little while. Which I mean, this is also 3-dimensional Mahjong, so I believe that does make it different from the other Mahjong version from the first wave. That's 2 different clover designs. But you know, it's a shame that the servers are dead. Like, it could actually be cool to play actual multiplayer of this. You know, something to help differentiate the experience from Funkjong. Oh, the game's just over because there's no more matches. I got 1700. Yeah, just gonna steal that match the computer was about to make. Right, I'm doing better than the computer so far. Although I don't know if that really counts for anything. Yeah, I don't think winning actually matters. Because you just get points based on the points that you got. Like, the opponent's points are not factored in at all. Which is, you know, is another factor of them considering that their target audience is, you know, children that most likely have like a single-digit age. And who might not be... You might get easily frustrated if they have to actually be good at the game to make progress. Because I mean, like, honestly, if they required you to actually be good at any of the mini games, I would never complete Laputa Station. Because I would be stuck playing Invasion. And, you know, so like they didn't want to make completing the game's storyline too intense of a task. So skill just means that you can get the MacGuffins faster. If you have patience, then you can be as long as you're getting points, that means you're good. But you know, the nice thing about this is that, like, since it is two-player mahjong against a computer opponent, there are intervals where I can just sit back and let the computer do the work, essentially. Like, I don't get any points for it, but it helps chip away at the board. That was number 3. Now for number 4. Yeah, sure, use up the magic tiles and not get any points. Which again, like, the opponent's points don't matter. Like, really, the opponent's points are just a measure of, here's points you could have gotten if you were better at mahjong. And at least the music is thus far not grating. Granted, all the music starts out good. It's when then you've heard the same loop for like an hour. That's when it's grating. I think this track will probably take longer to become grating, at least. And you know, pretty much every turn. There's a match that the AI opponent almost gets, and then I can just take it. See, in a way, having this computer opponent in an otherwise single-player game is quite helpful because it gives you a hint. Well, sometimes it gives you a hint. One there. And I have no idea what these things are for. Like they look like they're lives, but like maybe they're used in the actual multiplayer. Like maybe it's best 2 out of 3 or something. Well, perhaps it was best 2 out of 3 when the multiplayer was an option. I think there might be an unofficial server, but like I don't know if I'm allowed to stream that because like sure, like I'm not on Twitch anymore. I know streaming on unofficial servers is against the Twitch terms of service, as I don't know about YouTube. But you know what? Since it's against the TOS of one service, I'm not going to risk it on the other. At least not without Now making sure or what the rules are. I can now play Zhong Challenge in my games room. Time to move on to Burger House, also Scoop Stacker. Although they are lactose intolerant, the burgers still love stacking ice cream, and a 21 scoop salute is a perfectly balanced frozen treat. Create ice cream stacks that add up to 21 scoops by clicking on one of the 4 cones. Click the red X to discard scoops of ice cream instead of putting them on a cone. Look for the special bonus scoop that magically creates a stack of 21 scoops on any cone. Don't go over 21 scoops or you'll overload the cone, and the boggle will have to come in for cleanup. Yes, it's blackjack, but with ice cream. I've got ultimate 10. We just add 2 5s on here, 8 on here, $16. There doesn't seem to be anything smaller than a 3, so I should not put a 3 on there. Five will get it to exactly 21. And 3 7s will also get to 21. Oh, so you do sometimes get 2s. Doesn't seem like you ever get 1. Go ahead and get rid of that. 5 would do quite well over here. And go ahead and get rid of that mistake. Well, I got the trophy, so that means I got a good score. Add a 3 on there, here to get to 21. Throw this 8 on top of that. Three, 2, 10, get that to go away. Three there, 10. Tens seem to be fairly common, so if you can get 11s, that seems pretty good. Add a 3 onto the 18. I should have used that over here instead. $13. $9, $15. I add 10 there. Eight, 10, and game over. So that's number 2. Eight, 3, 8, 3. I have to get that to 12, and then if we can just get... Actually... 4's right here. Five, 10... but then I have to use 6. Just go ahead and get rid of that. I've made a mistake over here. No, got rid of it. There is a combo meter. I guess to really get maximum points, I should be aiming for combos. I mean, it is already 4 AM, so like... Now's maybe not the time for me to be trying to do complicated strategies in a game I've barely played. Or at the very least, a game that I haven't played much in years. I'm not entirely sure how much Scoop Stacker I played way back in the day. Considering that the Dream State was always one of my favorites, probably played a fair bit. Get that to be an 11, and then a 21. The 11 over there. One. Three, 10, So that's 12, so if I had another 9, or just a couple 3s... And a 7 there. Only one there. And any move you make, including skipping one, counts against your combo meter. Like his moves that resulted in a full stack. Like out of your most recent few moves. Like you only even get anything out of the combo meter. If you're able to line up just like a bunch of stacks to all complete in rapid succession. One. Of course, it's a 2 and a 3. Now I can play it in my crib's game room. So I believe this is the 5th time I'll have played it tonight, so... I should have used that on this 20, because you never get a 1. So by allowing a 20 stack to exist, you're kind of just screwing yourself. Nothing for me to use an 8 with. Only I had an 11. It's 2 18s. I guess really, like, the way to strategize would just be to figure out the good combinations of numbers. You know, just in the queue here. Like, your multiple 7s is definitely good. Because 3 7s is always going to make a 21. And get rid of that. $15. 6 gets to 21. Time to do Tank's game in the Funk Marine. Exploring and cataloging all the wonders of the ocean can get a bit boring, so the Tank have made a game of it. Click the mouse button to toss food at the hungry anemones. These for points and bonuses. Beware of the nasty shark though, he's hungry too. You'll have to fend him off with food. Okay, you just have to get close and then click. I don't think there's any kind of like, you know, charging your launch. Why did I even lose a life to there? I think I'm starting to get the hang of this one. Alright, so that's number 1. Yeah, you just have to get close. Again, there's no charging your shot. And if you miss, there's a delay where you have to wait for the next food item to appear. Good to see that when it comes to the shark, you can just spam food at it. Like, if the shark is on screen, you just automatically start throwing the food forwards instead of to the side. So that's playthrough number 2. And I got no coins for that. Which means that progress is probably going to be slow towards actually getting the MacGuffin. Actually, I think I want to say they did the MacGuffins differently with this wave. Like, I think it's actually that, like, you only need 2 from each of the 2 zones. Or something like that. Because I know one zone gives feathers, the other gives hoops. And combined, they make a dream catcher. And that's game over for game number 3. You have to get into, like, probably like the 5 digits or something. I think in terms of points to get coins from this. I'm gonna get this one more time after this. That's interesting. I guess you only collide with that one if you're up here. Guess it didn't seem to be colliding with the giant like ocean plant before. I can just do this one more time and then we move on to Lucky's game. Which might be the last thing for the night. Because it is almost 4:30 already. But you know, if I had realized sooner that I already had the thing for Flurry's game, we probably could have. What did I even collide with? Apparently collided with that plant. Even though I feel like I didn't. I mean, this is only the first Monday of November, so oh, there's at least 3 more days of UB Funkeys. 3 more streams of UB Funkeys. These for this year. It should make decent progress. Oh, I think it's just simply that the meter runs out. Yeah, the meter just runs out after a while. You can see this portal was gonna lead to somewhere or one day. Oh, that's concerning. Chat just disconnected for some reason. I think the Luckies hang out towards the... Yeah, over here is where I need to be. I need for Lucky. The Lucky are champion and bow-ball players. The Lucky believe it's because they are skilled at the game, but some Funkeys say it's because they are, well, lucky. Kicker. Aim the shot by moving your mouse left or right. Then click to lock your Funky in quotation marks in place. The power meter on the ball will pulsate. Click once on the amount of power you want to kick the ball. You don't want to kick too hard or too soft. 3. Act fast. You only have 15 seconds to kick the ball. Goalie, move your mouse left or right to position quote-unquote your Funky in the goal. Why is it in quotes? To make a save, move your mouse in the direction you want it, and then click once to dive or stop the ball. Okay, so that counts for neither. Right, nice, easy goal. Oh, that was a miss entire. Oh, and then it's just over. I get 4 points. That's one. Man, I'm doing very poorly at being the goalie this time. The ball just like teleported into the guy's hands. Hands on that. There was a point in that last one where my mouse click seemingly just stopped registering. That was great. Yeah, it will just sometimes not work. Man, I kind of hope that you don't have to get a MacGuffin from every single one of these. Because this kind of sucks, honestly. Or the real is like, I suck at this game. So the less I have to play it, the better. What was that even supposed to do? Yeah, and you can only do mouse controls, so if the mouse controls are being inconsistent, you're kinda just out of luck. Which means, hey, at least as long as you get at least 1 point, you're making progress towards a MacGuffin. And thus towards, from a storyline standpoint at least, never having to play this again. I believe that was my 5th time playing that, so gonna go ahead and go back to where we started. At least I'm fairly decent at the Zhang challenge. I should be able to make good progress on at least this one. Also, they might call it a night a little early or something. Because I am feeling a little tired. Which it's getting close to my usual end time, so might not even have to call it early. At least not by more than a few minutes. Oh, that's where the lives come in. It's because if your timer runs out without you making a match, then you lose a life. Which I'm sure was probably partly basically a disconnect penalty. When this had official multiplayer. You know, similar to like not even a disconnect penalty. Just a AFK penalty. You know, keep people from joining to just waste people's time. Got the freeze. You can see a clear right there. Just get all of the bonuses. Do another freeze. Maybe this one can actually be completed instead of resulting in no more matches. Nope, we're out of matches again. You got the Zhang Challenge trophy and the Dire Zhang tile for my insane high score of 7,100. Just gonna freeze to look at the board for a little while. Get more time. I mean, at least there's a fair bit of other sound going on besides just the music. I think so that certainly helps it not get annoying. I think I might just like play this up to 2 more times and then call it a night. Which I mean, like, it's already gonna be pretty late by the time I finish 2 more games of Zhang Challenge, so there's a time bonus right there. Here that I could have gotten. That, then this. Then shuffle. Well, at least I made a match on that turn, so I didn't lose a life. Breeze going. This might actually be a completable one. Actually, no. Because there's a smiley face. Yeah. Because of the 3 smiley faces, it's uncompletable. And basically, that's because the magic tile mechanic. Because if not for the magic tile, there would be a match guaranteed for every tile. Other than like the ones that are just a power up that activates when you tap, and you click on any of the associated tiles, like the freeze. One there and one there. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that time bonus. On my next turn, I'll be able to. Because the computer opponent doesn't seem to use power-ups at all. Other than, I think, freeze. Yeah, definitely gonna go for just like one more round after this. And then call it a night because it's after 450 already. And immediately, no more matches. Gee, if I only have to get 2 items, then I can just play Zhong Challenge in Scoop Stacker and be good. Granted, I probably shouldn't just do those unless as I get down to only having one that can still provide something worthwhile. Just, you know, for the sake of variety. And once this is done, I'm almost certainly not going to have time for anything else, really, before 5 a.m. Gonna go for the freeze. There's one there. Shuffle a couple times. Use get the bonus. And no more matches on the opponent's turn. Yeah, it's 4:56, so I'm just gonna call it a night. So thank you to everyone who stopped by tonight. Next stream of UB Funkeys is planned for Monday, which is November 10th. Which by November 10th will be officially into the realm of less than a month before Paralives releases. And tomorrow, I'm thinking either Age of Wonders or... Well, it's not an old game. I've got a themed mod pack of Balatro. Could also do this really old game called Virtual Families. They'll have to really see, like, is the pacing of the game good for streaming? Because it's actually kind of designed to be something that you just have unpaused as in the background. And in a lot of ways, like, it is based on the it uses the same engine as the Virtual Villagers games from the same developer. But it's just significantly easier because your little people have all the conveniences of living in 2009, I think. Either way, you know, the conveniences of living in the modern United States instead of I'm 90% certain made-up island. Yeah, like you can buy groceries to feed your little people instead of them having to forage. So I was also thinking about that being potentially the replacement for The Sims for that first week of December before Paralives comes out. Well, really, I could just take that first week off from streaming. And I think for at least for as long as I'm kind of stuck here doing YouTube Live instead of being over on my much more preferred platform. Like, nothing against YouTube Live, just like I feel like the vibes are somehow off. Not to mention, like, I've had to set up a bunch of stuff because all of my stuff was set up for Twitch. I think for as long as I'm stuck here, I might just use what used to be the contents for the Wheel of Filler as instead games for filler streams for when I have no idea what I want to stream any on a given night. Yeah, I could do like Virtual Families or even Virtual Villagers tomorrow, since those are life simulators of a variety. In a lot of ways, they're closer to God games because, like, you can pick the little people up. And And I definitely want to get to Balatro and Age of Wonders this week. It's just a matter of when I want to do those. And Age of Wonders will probably be its own, like, mini-series. He's throughout this month. It's 5:02, so that's gonna be it for me. Again, thank you to everyone who stopped by tonight. And again, like, next stream, you know, UB Funkeys Mondays, days for this month. And all streams will be mostly just, like, old stuff, essentially. Like, stuff that's pretty much all at least a decade old. Old at this point. Well, not all of it, because I do have some online games planned, and those are stuff that I remember from a decade plus ago. But are certainly not all of the content there is going to be a decade or more old, because it's an online game. It's still being updated. It's like, you know, there's gonna be new content mixed in with the old stuff I remember. Oh, those two Funkeys were just clipping into each other. But, you know, that's later.